Tonight, a feature report as the United States upgrades at Israeli base for the new Boeing tankers. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Zahra Sayed. Canada's Foreign Ministry has condemned Israel's attacks on the United Nations peacekeepers in Lebanon. The news comes after the Israeli forces have targeted the headquarters of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon. 2 members of the mission have been injured by tank fire. In a statement on X, the ministry describes the actions of the Israeli Defense Forces as alarming and unacceptable. The ministry has expressed support for the UN force and is urging the protection of peacekeepers and humanitarian workers. The United Nations Security Council's Resolution 1701 calls for the withdrawal of Israeli forces from Lebanon and calls for the replacement by Lebanese and United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon forces. The resolution was meant to resolve the 2006 Lebanon war and calls for a full cessation of hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah. Israel has launched extensive airstrikes against Hezbollah since September 23rd. More than 1,300 civilians have been killed. 1.2 million people have been displaced. Despite international calls for a ceasefire, Israel has intensified its military operations, further escalating tensions in the region. The White Rock Muslim Association is demanding the withdrawal of Conservative candidate Brent Chapmans from the Surrey South MLA race in British Columbia. The calls come after Chapman's controversial posts on Facebook from 2015 have resurfaced. In the posts, Chapman says Palestinians are little inbred walking, talking, breathing time bombs, figuratively and quite literally. He makes multiple references to Muslim inbreeding and says Canadians cannot live with them, Islam. The association's chair, Asad Sayed, condemns Chapman's statements and Islamophobic attitude. He says the community feels unsafe under his representation. Premier David Eby has labeled Chapman's remarks as hate speech. British Columbia Conservative leader John Rusted has distanced the party from Chapman's views. However, Rusted has not called for Chapman's withdrawal. Chapman has publicly apologized and says his past comments do not reflect his current beliefs. Sayed argues that the apology is insufficient and says allowing such attitudes to persist fosters a culture of hate. He is urging for concrete actions against racism and Islamophobia in politics. The association is demanding immediate accountability. The government of the United Kingdom has barred the grandson of Nelson Mandela from entering the country. Mandela is a vocal advocate for Palestine. He had planned to speak during the Black History Month, but faced unexpected visa issues. Now Mandela will engage with audiences via live satellite links during scheduled events in Scotland and other cities. Reports suggest the ban is influenced by pro-Israel lobbyists. In contrast, Mandela will visit Ireland as planned. Mick Napier from the Scottish Palestine Solidarity Campaign has criticized the ban. Napier is drawing parallels to the past treatment of Nelson Mandela by British authorities and condemns the government's actions as indicative of support for Israeli policies against Palestinians. Israeli airstrikes in central Beirut have resulted in the deaths of at least 22 in the past 24 hours. 113 have been injured. The strikes have targeted densely populated neighborhoods. One strike has hit a building in the Nuwairi area, and a second strike has caused a residential complex on the Fathallah Street to completely collapse. Reports indicate that the Israeli military is targeting Wafiq Safa, which is a key Hezbollah figure involved in negotiations and external relations. Israeli airstrikes have killed 63 Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, marking a week of intensified military action. 5 individuals have been killed in an airstrike yesterday. The strike targeted a group in the Sheikh Radwan neighborhood in Gaza City. Reports indicate heavy drone strikes near the Omar Mosque. Residents of the Jabalia refugee camp are trapped under total siege, unable to escape the ongoing violence. Internet blackouts have left them feeling isolated. Israeli forces have launched a renewed assault on Gaza's north in recent days. The military is implementing what it refers to as the General's Plan, which aims to forcibly expel over 400,000 Palestinians in the region. In the initial phase, Jabalia camp is to be heavily targeted. Israeli forces have pummeled the area with airstrikes. The death toll in Gaza is alarming. At the time of writing, at least 42,065 Palestinians have been killed. 97,886 have been injured. The Israeli onslaught has displaced almost the entire population of the Gaza Strip. The besieged enclave is facing an ongoing blockade that has led to severe shortages of food, clean water, and medicine. Israel faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice for its actions in Gaza. An investigation by the online digital outlet The Intercept reveals the U.S. military is renovating a southern airbase in Israel. The base will accommodate Boeing's KC-46A Pegasus tanker planes. The project is a part of a nearly $1 billion contract and involves constructing new hangars and facilities to enhance mid-air refueling capabilities. This move follows significant arms sales to Israel, including billions in missiles and fighter jets. The Pentagon has previously established bases in Israel as well, which include a secret radar facility near Gaza. The construction for the KC-46A is set to begin in February of next year. The site is one of the 60 U.S. bases, garrisons, or shared foreign facilities in the Middle East. These sites range from small combat outposts to massive air bases in 13 countries. These countries include the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Egypt, Iraq, Yemen, and Israel. Prominent Palestinian activist Majid al-Zir has condemned the recent U.S. sanctions against him. He calls the move an attempt to hinder his advocacy for Palestinian rights. Al-Zir has dual British and Jordanian citizenship. He has dismissed the allegations linking him to Hamas as absolutely false. In a recent interview with Al Jazeera Network, Al-Zir describes the accusations as madness and says the sanctions are based on unfounded claims and affect his personal and professional life. The U.S. Department of the Treasury has identified Al-Zir as a senior Hamas representative. The department alleges he played a key role in fundraising for the group. A 24-year-old man has pleaded guilty to a federal hate crime for vandalizing the Center for Islamic Life at Rutgers University in New Jersey. The incident occurred during the Eid al-Fitr holiday in April. Surveillance footage captures Jacob Beecher entering the building shortly early morning on April 10th, where he can be seen breaking into the center and damaging religious artifacts. Beecher then stole a Palestinian flag and a charity box. He was arrested on April 22nd. Beecher faces charges for obstructing religious practice and making false statements to federal authorities. He could face up to 3 years in prison. Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark says Islamophobic hate crimes are unacceptable. Clark vows to uphold laws protecting religious freedoms. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News Canada. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum.